Welcome to Next Level You podcast. I'm Stephanie Dingbaum, your host, your biggest cheerleader, and your go-to girlfriend for real, raw, and uplifting conversations about leveling up in life. As a mental health therapist with over a decade of experience and a business coach helping women elevate their lives and businesses, I'm here to guide you through the mindset shifts, holistic practices, and manifestation tools you need to step into your most authentic, next level self. Whether you're here to ignite your personal growth, elevate your professional game, or simply rediscover you, this podcast is your invitation to dream bigger, go after your goals, and unapologetically claim the life you deserve. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. It's time to up-level, manifest, and glow.
Hello. Welcome back, listeners. That is so exciting for me. Stay tuned because I have decided there is going to be a giveaway for episode 100. And if you want to try and get some freebies, you will definitely want to keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. More to come. Yeah. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice I got bangs. So just recently had my hair color a week ago and just kind of decided on a whim, like, I'm going to switch it up. And it's been, I think, 2 years since I've had bangs, or maybe a year. Honestly, I cannot remember. They all run together. But I did it either a year ago this time of year or 2 years ago this time of year, like right before Christmas. And it was a vibe and I loved it. So yeah, if you are watching on YouTube, please hit subscribe. I would love to get more subscribers on my YouTube channel. If you're not watching on YouTube, you should watch it on YouTube. Just, I don't know, see the cute little outfits I'm wearing. And I just think sometimes it's fun listening to people on YouTube and watching their mannerisms. I just think that's fun. So just something to consider for future reference. If you haven't checked me out on YouTube, maybe you'll want to. In today's episode, you guys, we are talking all about lucky girl syndrome. If you haven't heard about that, then you're going to love this episode because this whole concept just lights me the fuck up. I love talking about this. Another way of looking at lucky girl syndrome is best case scenario thinking. I think they're pretty synonymous with each other, honestly. I mean, I use them synonymously, I should say. But I want to explain to you what this concept is and show you how to apply it in your daily life. And I also want you to just understand how just this simple mindset shift can actually rewrite your subconscious completely, which then it transforms how you show up in life and in business. So if this intrigues you, stay listening. You want to learn more about this, trust me. So before I dive into this, I just want to put a plug in because I haven't been doing a very good job of this, but I do send out a weekly newsletter and typically it is tied to the same topic that I cover in that week's podcast episode. So if you want to go deeper on any of these subjects or you want additional information or journal prompts on it or affirmations on it, I give that stuff out in my weekly newsletters. It just gets emailed to you once a week. I try not to spam you too much, but it's just a way to get to know me on even more of a personal level. And a lot of times I will have people responding to my newsletter, which I just love. I love hearing from listeners. So if you want to be on more of personal level with me, definitely subscribe. I'll put the link to it in my show notes to make it easy for you guys. Okay, let's just dive in because I'm really excited about this topic, you guys. So what if I told you that the way that you've been taught to think about life, like expecting the worst, bracing for impact, preparing for failure. What if I told you that all of that is actually keeping you stuck? Okay. And what if there was a different way of looking at life and moving through the world? A more magnetic way, a lighter way, a more fun way. Wouldn't you want that? Because when I learned all about Lucky Girl Syndrome, I dove headfirst into it and I was like, I want all of it. I wanted to be surrounded by this concept as much as possible. I actually downloaded I think it was a recording, like an affirmation recording that I got from someone else's newsletter. And I downloaded that and listened to it every day on repeat between therapy sessions. My first 6 months of practice, I did that. And I accredit that to how I transformed my mindset as well. That's another tool that I use, another tool in my toolbox. So this tool that I call Lucky Girl Syndrome, I did not coin that, you guys. That's what other people call it as well. or like I said, best case scenario thinking, this is one of those first mindset shifts that I ever made. And like I said, it completely changed my life. And now this is something that I teach to my coaching clients and also my therapy clients. It's a pretty powerful tool. So just to set the tone, this episode is not about toxic positivity. It is not about ignoring reality. It's about consciously choosing to look at your world through a lens that serves you instead of sabotaging you. And let's be honest, we should all want that. If you don't want that, I don't know what to tell you. Something's wrong with you because you should want that. It's weird if you would not want that. I guess I just don't understand why you wouldn't want that. All right, let's just dive in. First things first. I'm sure the first question on your mind is like, what is lucky girl syndrome? What does that mean? Let me define it for you. This is the belief that everything always works out in your favor, that you expect good things to happen and then they do. Not because you are like foretelling the future, but because the law of attraction, what you focus on every day is what you're attracting back to you. And so if you are telling yourself every single day, I expect good things to happen to me, you are more likely to see good things happening to you because what we are feeding into our brain is what our external reality is going to reflect. And that's literally how our day-to-day life works. Okay. So if you go into your day telling yourself today's going to suck, I'm going to hate it, your day's going to follow suit. It's probably going to suck. You're probably not going to like it. But if you tell yourself, this is going to be the best day, good things are happening to me, I expect good things to happen to me, your brain is literally going to look for evidence to prove that to be true. It's that simple. Okay. This is not about being naive. It's not about being privileged. Nothing like that. In fact, it's about training your brain to look for that evidence that life is working for you, not against you. It's working in your favor. That's what this is about. Because I think more often than not, people have the opposite lens. People think that life is working against them. People believe they are victims to life circumstances. No, you are not. You're choosing to look at the world that way, but that's not how the world works. Life is not working against you. You need to choose to look at it the other way. It is a choice every single day to choose to carry this lens, kind of like the abundance lens I talked about in one of my earlier episodes. This is a choice as well. And what I learned through some research is that this syndrome, the sucky girl syndrome, actually comes from, it's a TikTok trend that ended up going viral. But the concept itself is rooted in psychology. It's what we call confirmation bias, reticular activating system, self-fulfilling prophecy. Those might be concepts you've heard of before, maybe not if you're not familiar with the psychological world or terms, but those terms are pretty much synonymous with lucky girl syndrome. So, that self-fulfilling prophecy, what we tell ourselves is what we're going to see fulfilled in our life, very similar. The shift that I want to really hone in on for you guys is that most people operate from what's called Murphy's Law. I don't know if you've heard of that as well, but the whole concept of Murphy's Law, just in a nutshell, without going too deep into this, is what can go wrong will go wrong. So that thought process, lucky girl syndrome just flips that process. What can go right will go right. And so that's what I'm challenging you guys to do today is to start every day with that thought process. What can go right will go right. Make that into your daily model, you guys. Type it, put it on the screen of your phone. Like I make my phone screensavers on Canva and then I upload it onto my phone. And so I see my daily motto is it's this or something better. And I see it. It's on my phone screen every single day. I read it daily. So it's on the forefront of my brain every single day. You should do the same thing with this one. What can go right will go right. Love that motto. Such a great motto. And why does this work? Well, again, I kind of already explained this, but your brain finds what you are looking for. When I worked at the school, I would always tell teachers, if you are trying to catch a child misbehaving, your brain is going to look for that. You're going to see it left and right. But if you're trying to catch your students behaving and being good, your brain's going to find that left and right. It's going to point that out to you left and right. So if you're looking for problems in life, you're going to find them. It's that simple. And if you're looking for magic, you're going to find that. It's that simple. Okay. That's what lucky girl syndrome is. So I mentioned it's synonymous to best case scenario thinking. Just to explain that to you a little bit in case you've never heard of that. Instead of catastrophizing or expecting the worst in our life, you are intentionally imagining and expecting the best possible outcome. Very similar concept to lucky girl syndrome. It's the antidote to anxiety. Anxiety means we are practicing worst case scenario thinking every day. That's literally what it is. You go into if you've ever like almost had a panic attack, which people think that panic attacks happen way more than they do, but research shows that it's actually a very, very low percentage of people that actually experience a true blue panic attack. But those typically start because of worst case scenario thinking. It's a spiral that your brain goes into. It's also like fear-based decision making. That's all of that is the antidote to anxiety. So if you want to get rid of anxiety, you need to flip. Worst case scenario, you need to put a stop and combat that fear-based decision making. Like fear-based decision making. What if this happens? What if the worst happens? Like you're living your day-to-day life, walking around, like looking for danger around every corner. Why would you want to live your life that way? I know I'm making anxiety seem like it's just that simple to combat, but as a practitioner who literally helps heal people from anxiety, it is that simple, you guys. It gets to be that simple. You have to put the effort in to make that switch. But once you make that switch and you're consistent and habitual with it, you will see it's that simple. And that's what you need to tell yourself. Healing doesn't have to be complex. I feel like I'm going down a little bit of a rabbit hole with this, but it's worth it. I promise. The healing doesn't have to be that complex. We make it more complex in our mind than it has to be. Okay? It gets to be fun. It gets to be simple. It gets to be easy. That's the story you should be telling yourself anyways, especially if you're in a journey of healing from anxiety or if you're suffering from anxiety. I do want to say that this is not your fault if you struggle with worst case scenario thinking. We live in a culture that literally conditions us to think this way, which is pretty sad if you think about it. Society literally teaches us to be realistic. If you're not watching me on YouTube, you don't see the air quotes that I'm doing, but literally that's what we're taught growing up. Be realistic. Get your head out of the clouds. What the fuck? Why is it a bad thing for my head to be in the clouds? Why? Or you'll hear people say like, oh, prepare for the worst. I believe we heard that during COVID all the freaking time. Give me a freaking break. Okay. Or like when here in the Midwest, oh my God, right now, before every time there's snow in the forecast, get prepared for the worst, 12 inches. And sometimes we only get 6. You know what I mean? Like, why? Why does it have to be worst case scenario all the freaking time? Or you hear people say, don't get your hopes up. Why the fuck not? I'm going to get my hopes up. Why would you not want to get your hopes up? Get your hopes up. Hope for the best. What's it going to hurt? Worst case scenario, you're only going to get half of what you're hoping for, but that's still better than none at all, right? So what if you thinking that way is what's blocking your blessings? What if you thinking, I need to be realistic, I need to prepare for the worst, I better not get my hopes up? What if thinking that way is actually blocking you from experiencing blessings? Just something to think about. Complete truth bomb. You have been conditioned to protect yourself from disappointment by expecting the worst. But listen, as human beings, we are hardwired to be able to handle disappointment. It's innate. It's in us. We are all resilient enough to be able to handle disappointment. Okay. But in doing so, like in expecting the worst, you've also been blocking yourself from receiving the best. Mentally, you are blocking yourself. Stop doing that. Stop blocking yourself. Here's your challenge. What if you gave yourself permission to believe that things could go really well? What do you think would change in your life? That's what I started doing when I opened my private practice 3 years ago. I started telling myself, what if things could go really, really well? What would that look like? And then I would let my brain go down that rabbit hole of answering that question. It's fun. That's a fun exercise to do. I encourage you to do that. So I want to explain how the lucky girl syndrome and best case scenario thinking really go hand in hand. Okay. These are not two separate concepts. Like I said before, they're actually two sides of the same coin. Lucky girl syndrome is the identity. I am someone who things work out for. I'm the lucky one. Things are always working out in my favor. Best case scenario thinking is the practice, the actions. I actively choose to expect the best in every situation, in every scenario. Okay, so you have the identity and the practice. Those two things go hand in hand. I am the lucky one, therefore, good things are actively coming to me. That's how you should be thinking every day. And then put those things together, they literally create a powerful feedback loop. The more you expect good things, the more you notice them in your life. The more you believe you are lucky. It's a loop. The more you believe you're lucky, the more good things are going to show up. It's an ongoing cycle. It gets to be so fun, you guys. So fun. It's so addictive too. Trust me, so addictive. So this isn't about ignoring challenges. Okay. That's not what I'm saying here. You're still going to be faced with challenges. Okay. That's just a normal part of life. But it's about refusing to let fear and negativity dictate your reality. So when those challenges come up for you, when those negative experiences come up for you, it's not going to derail you. You're just going to see that you respond a little bit differently than you used to. you're just going to see that you maybe let things roll off your shoulders a little more easily or easier than you used to.
Can we talk about something real for a second? How many of you are doing everything right? Eating clean, working out, drinking your water, taking your supplements, and yet you still feel off. Like, you look in the mirror and your skin looks dull, you feel bloated for no reason, your energy doesn't match the effort you're putting in, and you're standing in front of a bathroom counter covered in serums and supplements thinking, why is this so complicated and why isn't any of this actually working? Yeah, I've been there too. And that's exactly why I'm so excited to tell you all about Glossy. Glossy was created by my business coach, Lori Harder, who is an absolute powerhouse and one of my biggest expanders. And here's what I love about her story. Lori and her team were living the healthy lifestyle. They were doing all the things, but they still felt bloated, drained, and frustrated that their skin and energy didn't reflect the work that they were putting in. So they asked themselves, why are we overcomplicating this? And from that question, Glossy was born. A beauty meets wellness formula that supports your skin, gut, and hydration from the inside out. It's not another serum. It's not another drawer full of pills. It's one simple ritual that actually makes a difference. Here's what sets Glossy apart. It's science-backed, it's clean, and it works on multiple levels. You're not just addressing surface level stuff. You're supporting your gut health, your skin's glow, your body's hydration. It's holistic wellness in the truest sense. And honestly, I can feel the difference. My skin looks clearer, my energy feels lighter, and I'm not dealing with that annoying bloat that used to follow me around no matter what I ate. It's one of those things where you didn't realize how off you were feeling until you start feeling right. Because here's the truth, great skin and a lighter, more energized body shouldn't be complicated. It should make your life better, not add to your overwhelm. If you are someone who's been doing all the right things but still not seeing or feeling the results you want, if you're tired of the endless routines and the products that overpromise and underdeliver, Glossy is what you've been looking for. It's simple, it's effective, and it actually works. Head to getglossy.com, that's getglossy.com, and use code NEXTLEVEL for 10% off your first order. Again, getglossy.com and use code NEXTLEVELU for 10% off your first order. Trust me, this is the one thing you're going to want to add to your routine. And honestly, it might be the only thing you need.
So I think that's completely worth it. So I want to give you some examples of like what this looks like in everyday life and how you could use this in everyday life if you want to start implementing this. These are examples that I have applied in my life over the last few years, and it's been a huge game changer. Okay. First and foremost, you guys have heard me talk about this before, affirmations. So things like everything always works out in my favor. That's one that I was using religiously. I am so lucky. Good things happen to me all the time. The best case scenario is unfolding for me right now as I speak. I am a magnet for miracles, opportunities, and blessings. You guys, these are so powerful. Imagine waking up every day and telling yourself these every single day. You would feel so magnetic, like it would light a fire within you. Okay. So say them daily, especially when that inner critic comes up. Combat that inner critic with these affirmations. Because over time, if you can do that consistently over time, you are reprogramming your subconscious. I literally just 3 weeks ago went through a training, complete transparency. About halfway through the training, I had the realization that I could be leading this training. This is literally what I teach with my coaching clients. So that was very reassuring. I probably will start hosting trainings like webinars after the new year starts. But anyways, I was about halfway through and I had that realization. But the whole training was all about like reprogramming your subconscious, something that I teach all of my clients. And the research shows, it's something that came out of that training. If you are saying your affirmations to yourself daily, habitually, it takes 75 days to reprogram your subconscious if you're saying them daily. I know that might sound like a lot to you guys, but 75 days is 2.5 months. That flies by. Okay. And the affirmations get to be something fun that like you genuinely enjoy. So it's not a bad thing. So just something to think about if you want to implement them into your life, but say them daily, especially when you have that inner critic come up for you. Another one that I want to talk about This is a fairly new term to me. I just started using this in the last year, but they're called activations. Ultimately, what it is, it's an embodiment practice. Like you're embodying a future version of yourself. So instead of just saying affirmations, you're feeling them through these activations. So you can close your eyes and imagine the best case scenario already happening. It's like a mind movie that you're playing. Okay. You're going to feel the relief, the excitement in your body. So, for example, before a big call or a big event, I would sit down and I would ground myself and I would visualize the event going incredibly well. I would see myself confident, aligned, magnetic. I would feel what it feels like to be present throughout the event. I did that all 3 days before the Powerhouse Conference, all 3 days, and activations are really freaking powerful. So that's something that you can also implement to help with like embodying that lucky girl syndrome. Another way of using this concept in your everyday life is gratitude. Gratitude as proof. So use gratitude to collect evidence that you are lucky and that things do work out for you. Saying things like, I found the perfect parking spot before you even pull into the parking lot. Saying things like that client said yes before logging on to a discovery call. Saying things like, I got an unexpected refund before you get the mail. Because what you're doing is you're training your brain to see the wins. Okay. And it's not, again, you're not telling the future, but you're telling your brain what to look for. So you're attracting more of those like high frequency opportunities because you're thinking from gratitude is the highest frequency thought you can have in a day. So you're like coming from that state of mind. When you think at that level of frequency, you're attracting more things from that level as well. And one daily practice you can do to help with your gratitude is literally just write down 3 things that went really well for you today. 3 lucky moments or 3 examples of life working out in your favor. Get in the habit of doing that daily. And before you know it, like those things are going to be happening to you every single day. Another tool is reframing in real time. So when something bad happens, I want you to immediately ask, what if this is actually working out for me? What if this is redirecting me towards something better? Whenever something like bad or challenging happens, ask yourself, what if the opposite were true? So a client, you get in a discovery call with a potential client and they turn you down. What if the opposite were true? What if they're turning me down because a more aligned client is coming down the pipe next? Okay, so you didn't get the client, but telling yourself that just means my dream client is on their way to me and my flight got delayed. This delay is protecting me from something or putting me exactly where I need to be. This is advanced level mindset work. But when you implement it, it shifts everything in your life. You cannot express enough how powerful this is, you guys. This is really powerful stuff. That reframing is such a powerful tool. Another tool is speaking it into existence. Talk about your life as if the best case scenario is already happening to you. So like things like, instead of saying, I hope this works out, say, I know this is working out in my favor. Instead of saying, I'm trying to grow my business, say, my business is growing and thriving. It's not you lying. It's you speaking these things into existence. And then when people ask for specifics, like, oh, your business is thriving? Like, what do you mean? Well, my client load is slowly growing. I'm getting consistent leads coming in. Like, that's not a lie, you know? So practice that. Because literally, you guys, the words that you use in your head to other people, your words are what's creating your reality. So you have to choose them intentionally, because it is impacting your day-to-day reality. So I want to explain to you guys how this rewrites your subconscious, like the science behind it, okay? Your subconscious mind controls 95% of your thoughts, behaviors, and beliefs. 95% of your thoughts are controlled by your subconscious, and most of it is fear, lack, and worst-case scenario thinking. Gross. And a lot of that was programmed from your childhood, so it's not completely your fault. But when you practice lucky girl syndrome and best case scenario thinking daily, you are literally reprogramming that subconscious software in your brain. So then over time, your brain starts to default to positive expectations instead of the negative ones that it used to default to. It takes anywhere from like 30 to 70 days to get to that default, but it will happen rather quickly if you're consistent and habitual with these practices. And over time, you stop bracing yourself for disaster and your brain starts to expect miracles. It's really freaking powerful. And I say that from experience because I've seen this in my own life. And then the result is, because you're no longer bracing for disaster and you're expecting miracles, you show up differently. You make decisions from trust instead of fear. You take aligned action instead of forcing. You attract better opportunities because your energy is actually magnetic, not desperate. Can you see how powerful this could be? And in life, you literally stop living in survival mode. You actually start living from a place of flow. And that's where I'm at right now. And it's fucking powerful. Sorry if I'm swearing a lot today. But yeah, life feels lighter. It feels easier and more joyful. And then again, when those challenges arise, because you're functioning from a state of joy and gratitude, they don't really like sway you like they used to. You kind of like shrug them off more, which is a beautiful thing. If you start implementing these things, I want you to stay on alert when this shift happens for you, okay? Because I want you to be noticing signs, because it's not like a light switch turns on and off, okay? It's not that quickly that you notice this shift. It's over time. But I want you to be paying attention to the signs that are showing you that this shift is happening, okay? So how do you know if it's actually changing for you or not? Well, here's how you would know. You would stop catastrophizing. So instead of spiraling into that worst case scenario, you would catch yourself and you would immediately choose a different thought. You would combat it with, oh, what if the opposite were true? Oh, what would the opposite be? What if I attract an abundance of clients instead of nobody coming to me? Oh, well, if that would happen, like, I don't know if my systems are in place and I would need to hire a VA and this and that. And you'd go down that rabbit hole and it would actually like totally derail you from thinking about the negatives. That's a sign. Another sign, you notice more lucky moments in your life, not because life suddenly got easier, but just because you're finally seeing them, because your brain is looking for them now. You feel less anxious because you're actually trusting that things are working out now. So there's actually less to stress about. You make decisions faster because you're no longer paralyzed by fear anymore. So a lot less decision fatigue also because you trust yourself and you trust the outcome now. Opportunities are going to start showing up for you more and more, like aligned opportunities. That's because you're not forcing them anymore. You're just simply attracting them because of the frequency that you're functioning from every day. So you're attracting people, clients, ideas. They just start appearing in your life practically like out of nowhere. You might call them synchronicities, but it's pretty amazing. You also just feel more confident in your decision making, just more confident about yourself as an entrepreneur, as a mom. You just feel more confident because you've built evidence that you are lucky, that things do work out, and that you are supported. So that builds that confidence within you. And then lastly, you stop playing small, because when you believe the best case scenario is possible for you, you are willing to dream bigger and take bolder action. It's pretty freaking powerful. And then just one reminder I want to make sure I'm sharing with you guys. This does not mean that life becomes perfect or challenge free. Okay. You're still going to have challenges. Life still life's. Okay. But how I handle those challenges looks and feels completely different from how I used to. Because it means you respond to life differently. You're not reactive to life anymore because you have that inner trust instead of reacting from fear. You have more curiosity instead of panic. That's how you know things are shifting. So I want to invite you guys to choose a different lens. Okay. The truth that literally nobody wants to hear is you have been consciously choosing to see the world through a negative lens. Even if it doesn't feel like a choice, I'm telling you, it is a choice. It doesn't feel like a choice because it's become a habit, and our habits are controlled by our subconscious. But the good news is you can choose differently. Literally right now, today, you can choose differently. I really like challenging society's conditioning because you've literally been told that being realistic means expecting the worst. But my challenge against this conditioning is, what if realistic just means what you've been conditioned to see? What if there's a whole other reality available to you when you shift your lens, that lucky reality? Because believing that you're lucky, expecting the best, trusting that life is working for you and not against you, in a world that literally profits off of things like fear and doubt, this process is revolutionary. Okay? Your brain will take a complete 180. So write yourself a permission slip today. You don't need proof. Just start believing, and then you will see how it's literally like magic. It just starts showing up. That's how it works. And I'm preaching this from a place like I've experienced this myself. Okay. This is real life. This happens. It happened for me. And I can tell you countless others that this has happened for as well. It's not just me. Okay, so I just want to wrap things up real quick because I need to get going. Just a reminder, lucky girl syndrome and best case scenario thinking are not just feel-good concepts. They are tools that work. They are tools you need to carry in your back pocket because they rewire your brain, they shift your energy, and they change your life. You get to decide how you move through the world. You can keep expecting the worst and being right, or you can start expecting the best and then just watch how your life transforms. And I want to challenge you. So here's my challenge. For the next 7 days, practice Lucky Girl Syndrome. Say the affirmations I gave you, look for the evidence, expect the best, and then literally watch what happens. So anything lucky that happens to you, slide it into my DMs. Okay. I want to literally collect evidence for you, and then I'll share it in an upcoming episode. Please do that. Seriously, I would love that. And again, if you know of somebody who needs to hear this, send them this episode. Let's literally spread Lucky Girl energy. Let's spread it. Let's make it the new pandemic of 2026. Okay. And if you want to go deeper into this, if you want to go deeper on rewiring your subconscious and stepping into your most magnetic self, work with me. I do coaching on this. We deep dive on this in my coaching. And I have previous and current clients that can vouch for this. It's some of the most powerful work they've ever done. And the transformations that they're seeing as a result of the work that they're doing with me is literally next level. It's amazing. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, please subscribe to my newsletter. I'll put the link in the show notes. That would just be so amazing to have more subscribers. So if you want deeper stuff, if you want more intimate information on my life, subscribe to the newsletter. Okay, guys, have a great rest of your week. I will talk to you guys all next week.
Real quick before you go, I just want to thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. And congratulations on showing up for you. Every step you take to invest in yourself brings you that much closer to your next level self, and I'm so proud of you. If you loved this episode, share it with someone who could use a little inspiration, or take a screenshot and tag me on social so we can keep spreading the next level you energy. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Let's freaking go!